Hello everyone, my name is Yara and welcome to the Week 1 Demigodathon vlog. Demigodathon is a 5-week read-along for the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, hosted by me as well as 4 other creators. I will have a link to the playlist that has all of our announcement videos in case you're interested, but essentially we're reading one Percy Jackson book per week. And so week 1 is The Lightning Thief. It's actually day 3 at Demigodathon right now. I had a paper due for a class yesterday at 5 p.m. so I spent the whole weekend and yesterday doing that. And immediately after I submitted that essay, I went to New York with my friend to see The Lightning Thief musical on Broadway. So I actually haven't started reading The Lightning Thief yet, but I have a few more days. I'll get to it. I do plan on actually reading my illustrated edition of Lightning Thief because I got it last year, but it's kind of just been like a pretty book on my bookshelf thus far, so I actually want to read it fully and see all the amazing illustrations. So far I've just like kind of flipped through it, but since I saw the musical yesterday, I figured I would talk about it because it is kind of relevant to the subject matter. It's also New Year's Eve, fun fact, so I'm going to be talking about this while I do my makeup. So I'm just gonna put my hair up to get it out of my face. I feel like I look like Legolas right now. I've never seen Lord of the Rings, but I don't even know what I'm doing. So this is going to be an adventure for both of us. So this is actually the second time that I saw this musical. I first saw it when it was on tour back in January actually. I have a whole vlog about it if you're interested. So I don't have a lot of new things to add to the discussion because I still pretty much agree with everything I said in that video. And in that video I made it very clear that I loved this musical, I loved this adaptation, and that still holds true the second time I saw it. It really is just a fun time. It really captures a lot of the humor and joy and just fun that the beginning of the series has, but it also really grounds itself in the idea that these kids have been neglected and they're very resentful of their parents, which I thought was a brilliant decision because it added a lot of extra emotion and impact. It's also a really smart adaptation, which is something that I really appreciate about it, because you can tell that they really thought through what they needed to adapt from the book and how to transfer that from a book medium to the theater medium. The one thing I think you do miss a little in the musical is just the pure adventure of it. You don't actually get to see very much of them going to all these places because they travel the US. They cross the country in The Lightning Thief. And because of the limited setting that is just inherent in a theater, a lot of the adventures are encapsulated in these kind of montage songs, which I thought was really smart. And it also adds to the humor, like how fast things go. And they could have easily just gotten rid of a lot of the stops and adventures that the kids go on. And admittedly they do, I think, get rid of some, but I liked how they used the songs to their advantage. I could be remembering this wrong, that I feel like Chris McCarroll's performance of Percy has changed throughout time. I mean, I'm sure it has, like organically it has evolved. He's been playing this character since 2017. The way he performed Percy on the Broadway show was a lot more kind of funny and goofy than the way I remember it happening when it was on tour, and especially more so than what it is on the cast recording. And it was definitely enjoyable. Like, I really liked his performance. It was very funny, very well executed. Whether it is a correct adaptation of Percy's character was something that I was trying to think about. I think people just came home, so I'm gonna be a little quieter. Yeah, so I think the fandom has this kind of idea that Percy is like this giant goofball, and like he is obviously deep down, but you don't actually see that. Like, it's not an entire character, it's more of like these snippets of moments that you see throughout the series and the following series as well that you really get that impression. And especially in the first book, he's pretty jaded because he's kind of like isolated and alone. And I think the cast recording encapsulates that a little bit more than what I saw on stage. But to be honest, I think it functions fine because the musical is only the first book and it's not like we're gonna get a sequel with the musical. Whereas in the book, I think it's kind of important to note that about Percy's character because that is a mark of his character growth later on and how he views Camp Half-Blood and all the friends that he's made. This is also just a random observation that I had, but I was reading this article about how the Lightning Thief musical kind of wasn't doing that well on Broadway in terms of money, and how they were only selling about like half as much, like half the seats. And so I was really curious when I went to the theater to see if that was true. And I was kind of surprised because like the entire theater was full. And it was a Monday night, so it wasn't like it's a very common time for people to book tickets. So I'm not really sure why that article said that. It could have just been that particular day because it was like the end of the year and during winter break. But yes, quite interesting. While I'm here, I might as well rank or at least talk about my favorite songs from the musical. So right off the bat, my favorite song in the musical is Their Sign, which is probably like, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't hear that many people talking about it. It occurs right after the Minotaur attack when Percy wakes up in Camp Half-Blood and he is being introduced to this world. And it's where Percy learns that his mom was taken to the underworld, and also when he learns that he is a son of a god. And Chiron explains how they won't know who his father is unless he gets claimed, hence this sign. And Percy has this really emotional part of the song where he talks about how if his father really truly cared about him, he would have shown him a sign. He says something along the lines of like, the guy didn't need to be dad of the year, but it's clear he could have shown us a sign. And I was like, he right. And then the second part of that song is when Percy meets Luke. Percy kind of gets validated for his jaded feelings because Luke is like, yeah, the gods kind of suck. But he's also like, you have friends, we're gonna support you. I think that song is so sweet and encapsulates a lot of the emotional arc of the story in a very like quick time. Like we go through such a range of emotions and set up the whole plot with Luke. And then on the complete other side of that, there's The Last Day of Summer. Ooh, I just spilled so much powder on myself. And that's the song where we end up learning that Luke is the lightning thief. And that whole sequence is brilliant. Like Luke's solo in that song is heartbreaking. And there's a reprise of Good Kid, which Percy sings in the first act, talking about how he just tries so hard to be a good kid, but it's never enough. And the fact that Luke sings it in his context. I love reprises in musicals. I can't get enough of them, and this musical uses them so well. I also like Strong that Percy and his mom sings because it's so wholesome and so cute. And like Sally Jackson is just queen among YA moms. Their Sign was my second most played song on Spotify for 2019, and Strong was like my fourth. I also think Drive and Lost in the Woods are so funny, especially Lost in the Woods, because that was so funny when I saw it the first time, and it was still just as enjoyable the second time around. Honestly, seeing a well-done Percy Jackson adaptation is kind of bittersweet because obviously I'm happy that my favorite book series gets to have an adaptation that does it justice, but it also makes me sad to think that we might not get to see the later books because, if I'm being honest, The Lightning Thief is my least favorite book in the series. I love it, but it is my least favorite. And like, I want to see like Battle Labyrinth and Last Olympian with my eyes one day. But if Disney adapts Percy Jackson, we might have that. If Disney adapts Percy Jackson and picks up Anne with an E, I will officially sell my soul to that service. I kind of already have, but I will in writing sell my soul. Anyway, I kind of have to go soon, so I'm just gonna fast forward the rest of this makeup part. So as I mentioned before, I had an essay due earlier this week, then it was New Year's Eve, so theoretically New Year's Day was supposed to be the day that I started reading Lightning Thief. And I did try, but I had a really bad headache that I am pretty sure is from a caffeine withdrawal because I was like, hey, maybe I shouldn't drink coffee every day, but my brain was like, too late. And then today, me and my friend Audrey went to Barnes & Noble and then went to see Little Women, which was excellent, by the way. And that leaves me at 11 p.m. on Thursday, having read pretty much nothing of The Lightning Thief. I'm not really surprised by this. I tend to do things at the last minute anyway, whether I intend to or not. I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight before I go to bed, even though I'm really tired. And then tomorrow is gonna be a pretty big day because I have to finish The Lightning Thief and then edit this vlog. So, yes. So I'm kind of conflicted about the art style in this book because some of it is very beautiful, like especially the bigger landscape stuff, but then some of it is kind of weird, specifically the faces. Like, that's just kind of creepy. And Percy looks like 5 years old. So Chiron talks here about how he has been a teacher since like Hercules and how he's gained a lot from that and how he's lost a lot from that too. And now I'm getting kind of sad because I'm thinking about when Percy dies and then Chiron's going to be reflecting on it and it's going to be so sad. But I also low-key want like a one-shot glimpse into the future when like Chiron is like reminiscing about Percy. Another day and still not much accomplishment in the reading category. I truly had intentions to read today. I thought today was going to be the big day. I was going to read so much. But then I had this last minute errand that I needed to do because it was time sensitive. And that ended up taking the whole day. So now it is 9 o'clock and I'm still at page... What page am I on? 61. Wait, let me get the real Lightning Thief to see what that translates to. It's page 107 in the actual book. So I'm like this far. Not great, but better than what 61 makes it seem like where I am. I have my Wendy's, I have my Frosty, and I have my book. So let's read. Location has changed, tea has been acquired, and I'm still slightly under halfway. I truly don't understand why I'm getting so distracted like at every possible moment, but I'm slowly making my way through. I always forget about this plot line, but it's so funny how Percy ends up in the news and is like this nationwide criminal. It just adds to everything bad that's happening to him. Like, his luck cannot get any worse. Whoa, that just reminded me of this fan fiction that I read like many years ago. And it was a crossover between Percy Jackson and House of Anubis. And Nina knew about Percy because of all this fugitive business. Wow, that just took me back. I think I much prefer these like entire page pictures because I feel like there's just a lot more you can do with it as opposed to like the ones that are just like small on the page. But my imagination did not account for how dirty the water is. Wow. But I like the colors. Okay, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm on page 135, which translates to like 213 in the actual book. So I'm a little over halfway. So I feel contented with... Is that a word? So I feel content with my progress today and I'll finish tomorrow. Woo! This hairstyle in retrospect is kind of weird, but too late now. Hello. It is Sunday. No, it's not Sunday. Actually, it is Sunday. This was meant to be my Saturday update, but it is actually 12:30 a.m. And today I had a family event to go to, so I didn't get that much reading done, but I did read in the car. So now I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I'm gonna really try to bang out the rest tonight. I'm gonna see how long I can last and see if I can get a lot more reading done. Otherwise, tomorrow I will finish the book. Some thoughts that I didn't get to say because I was in the car was that one, I freaking love the Tunnel of Love scene. And it's Percabeth goodness before Percabeth was even a thing. Like, they're just babies. I freaking love their banter. Like, truly, no one compares. And there's that part where they're in the zoo truck and Percy asks, like, is this going to be like the Trojan War? Is Athena going to be against Poseidon? And then Annabeth goes, I don't know what the gods will do, but I'm going to be fighting alongside you. And, like, just my heart. This is truly a dumb observation, But I remember as a kid wholeheartedly thinking that they just spelled music wrong here, and only very recently learning that Muzak is a thing. Could I tell you what it is? No, but it is a thing. Why is this Charon interaction the funniest thing ever? How did you die then? Oh, drowned in the bathtub. All three of you? Big bathtub. Here now, you couldn't read my name correctly. Are you dyslexic, lad? No, I'm dead. I didn't realize that pollution was such a big motif in this book. First it was the light pollution in New York, then it was the Mississippi River, then it was the Santa Monica Pier, and now even the River Styx is polluted. I really did not remember this whole motif, but I'm here for it. Whoa, I like this picture. Oh, and I like this one too. This one's really cool. Wait a minute, I didn't even notice this before, but there are like themes of abandonment throughout the entire story besides the main plot point with all the kids. Like even in this scene with Cerberus, it's a very short scene, but Annabeth already establishes an emotional connection to him and she has to leave and she kind of makes this empty promise that she's going to come back. And with the interaction with Charon, him saying that Hades doesn't really treat him very well, and even with the whole pollution motif, it really fits into that whole idea of neglect. There are a lot of seeds in it in this book. Lord Hades, look, sir, there can't be a war among the gods. It would be bad. Very eloquent, Percy. Good job. I only have 30 more pages left, but it is currently 2 a.m., so I should go to bed. Hello! So this is my last check-in. It is Sunday night and I finally finished the book. I always really love reading the end of this book because I think it just sets the tone for the rest of the series with the big twist that Luke is the lightning thief. And I really love that Percy gets to meet his dad in this book and that he gets a little bit of closure on that front. Like he's not continually left in the air, like he knows his dad is watching him and is proud of him. Reading The Lightning Thief is always an interesting experience because I come in with the knowledge of everything that Percy and their entire crew has gone through in the 10 plus books that we've seen him in. And so going back to where he started in the beginning when he's just learning how to use a sword and just learning about his water powers, like it really makes you appreciate just how far he's come and how far he's grown. And I love getting to see the very beginnings of these relationships that I think are so powerful later on in the series, like the Percy-Beth relationship, which is now just a really good friendship, and the trio moments with Annabeth and Grover. And I love how you can see just how passionate Annabeth and Grover are about their respective dreams, and just knowing what opportunities they get later on in the series. Like, I'm so proud of my babies. Like, I love seeing them at this stage. So that concludes my Demigodathon Week 1 reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts if you read Percy Jackson again, or if you're just watching along and remembering along with me. I'd love to know if you're participating and how far you are along if you are. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you later. Bye.